Hello everyone, nice to see you again. How are you, Dexter? You okay? You are. Now last week I have to apologise because Dexter, yes you, Dexter didn't get a chance to say hello. And he really would like to say hello to all of the boys and girls out there. And you remember how he does it? He likes to have a good old sniff. So he's going to have a sniff. You can sniff back if you like. You ready, Dexter? Do you want to say hello? Off you go then. He says you all smell amazing today. That's nice, isn't it? Yes. Now then, we're going to have another story today all about God's love. But before we do that, I wonder if we can remember the verses from the Bible that we were learning. So the first one just had 3 words in it. Mm, mm, mm. Can you remember what the words were? God is love. That's right. God is love. That was our first verse from the Bible. And then last week we had another verse from the Bible, and that was that nothing, absolutely nothing, can separate us from the love of God. Nothing can separate us from the love of God. Now, if you remembered those 2 verses, then I think you deserve a very, very big clap, because that was really, really good, because you've learnt 2 pieces of the Bible. And today we are going to learn another verse from the Bible. But before we do it, we're going to have the story where we're going to read that verse. Now this time I haven't got a book to show you the story because I don't have a book with this story in it. So I've got some notes there. I'm just going to tell you the story from the Bible. And this is the story that's in the book of Chronicles, 2nd Chronicles in the Old Testament. And it's about a king. A king. Do you know any kings? No, me neither. Do you know any kings? Well, this king, he had a very, very unusual name. Are you ready? It's really funny. His name was this: Jehoshaphat. I don't suppose you know anybody called Jehoshaphat. No, me neither. But he was called Jehoshaphat. And Jehoshaphat was a good king. He was the king of Judah. And he was a good king because he helped all the people, and he tried to teach all the people to worship God and to not worship idols and statues and things that couldn't do them any good. He said they needed to worship the one true God. And he just didn't tell them about that. He told them how they could follow the commandments that God had given them. Now, because Judah was a good king, God blessed Judah. But they had many, many enemies. Yeah, it could get a bit scary, this story. Many enemies in the surrounding lands. And the enemies were in the countries nearby Judah. And sometimes the enemies would try and attack Judah. And one day Jehoshaphat got word that there was going to be an attack. I know, it's a bit scary. Now then, not just one country was going to attack. That would be bad enough, wouldn't it? Not even 2 countries, but 3 different armies were going to come and fight Jehoshaphat and the people of Judah. Now then, if you were the king, what would you do? Maybe you'd be scared. Yes, I think Dexter would be scared. I think I'd be a bit scared as well. Or maybe you would cry. Oh, you pretended to cry, Dex. You might cry. You might sulk. But do you know what? Who did Jehoshaphat believe in? He believed in God. So Jehoshaphat got all of the people from the land to come together, and they did the thing that was the best thing they could possibly do. Whenever we're in trouble, the best thing that we can do is pray to God. So Jehoshaphat got all the people together and he began to pray. And he said something like this. He said, Lord, you are the mighty, mighty God, the God of everything. You have all the power. You have all the strength. We don't know what to do. We are helpless. We're probably going to die. We need you to help us. Now, do you think that God was going to help them? Yes, I think that's true. So all the people prayed. They prayed so hard to God and asked him for his help. And as the people stood in front of the temple listening to the king pray, God spoke to them through one of the priests. And God said this is amazing. God said, "Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged, because the battle isn't yours. The battle belongs to God. In the morning, go down to the battlefield." And he told them where to go. And he said, "Stand still." Really still. Stand still and see the victory that God's going to bring. Don't be afraid. Well, when King Jehoshaphat heard God's words, he began to thank God immediately. He didn't doubt. He believed God 100%, and he was absolutely thrilled that God was going to help them, and they started to worship and thank God. So the next day, Jehoshaphat and all the army got up, and they went out to the desert, to the place where the man of God told them to go, and they marched down to meet their enemies. 3 massive armies all around. And before they got right down to the place, Jehoshaphat said, "I want a special group of people to go first." Now, who would you send first down into the battle? Would you send your best fighters or the people on the horses? Well, Jehoshaphat said, "I want the singers to go first." So they got all of these men together who were going to sing, and they marched down to the front line. And all the way there, they were marching and they were singing. And they were singing our memory verse. They were singing this: "Give thanks to the Lord, his love endures forever." Now, endures is a funny word. It just means it goes on and on and on and on. It lasts forever. It never stops. It just goes round and round and round, on and on and on. So they said, "Give thanks to the Lord, his love endures forever." And they sang it over and over again. Now, the strange thing was that when the army finally arrived at the battlefield, there was nobody left to fight. I know, it's amazing, because God made all of the other 3 armies start fighting each other, and they had a battle themselves. So when the people of Jehoshaphat's people got down, the army got down to the battlefield, there was no more battle to fight because the armies had been decimated. They all went away. Now that was amazing, wasn't it? And Jehoshaphat and all of the people worshipped God. They worshipped the Lord God, and they thanked him for his never giving up, never ending, lasting forever love. Did you like that story? It was a little bit scary, wasn't it, with all the armies? But actually, it tells us that God's love is amazing. It never ends. So I wonder whether we can remember that little verse from the Bible, the verse that all of the men that were singing. Do you remember? It said, "Give thanks to the Lord, his love endures forever," or "his love lasts forever." Do you think you'd be able to remember that, Dexter? You do? Oh, that's a really important verse to remember, isn't it? And if you remember that, do you know you will have learned 3 portions of the Bible? That's amazing. So I think we might have a song. Should we have a song? And this week I brought my guitar. I'm not very good at playing the guitar, so we'll have to see how that goes. So I'm going to have to put you down, Dexter, on the floor, okay? And we'll get the guitar. So today's song that we're going to learn, it's a new song for us because we've never sung it before at Toddlers or Little Fishes, but it's quite an old song. You know it, don't you, Dexter? And it's called "God's Love is Like a Circle." And it goes to the tune of Puff the Magic Dragon. So anybody that's a grown-up, you might know this tune. The actions are very simple. So I think I'll do the singing and the bad guitar playing, and Dexter's going to do some actions, aren't you, Dexter? So in order to do the actions, you just need to make circles. So you can make great big circles. Can you make a big circle, Dex? Oh, that was a big circle. Oh, you can make tiny circles with your fingers. Yeah, so you can make them with this hand or with this hand. Lots and lots of circles. Or maybe you'd like to twirl. Dexter can't twirl very much. He gets dizzy and falls over. But you could twirl around if you like to make circles. Are we ready to give it a go? God's love is like a circle big and round. And when you see a circle, no ending can be found. And so the love of Jesus goes on eternally, forever and forevermore. I know that He loves me. God's love is like a circle big and round. For when you see a circle, no ending can be found. And so the love of Jesus goes on eternally, forever and forevermore. I know that He loves me. Well done, everybody. They were great actions. Well done. So everybody, it's time for some craft and messy activities and some games. So the first one is a game, and this idea is very simple, and you can extend it to use with lots of different shapes. But today we are thinking about circles, aren't we? Making circles and God's love being like a circle. So the first game is Spot the Circle, and you can play this anywhere. So you could play it in your house, you can play it outside, you can play it in the car, and basically all you need to do is, it's like I Spy, but we're going to spy for circles. So if I was to spy around my room right now, I can spy a circle in my light. So my lampshade has got a lovely circle on it. And I can see a circle here on my plate. And you could see if you can spot some circles and maybe keep count of how many circles you can find. And that might help you with the second of the ideas that we've got. So on the other side of this paper plate, you'd have seen there's lots of paint. Any kind of paint will do. And then when you're going around spotting your circles, maybe you can spot some household things that you can use. This is it's a tea light candle, but it's burnt down, there's nothing left. But it makes a very good stamp to make some circles. And also I have a lid off a bottle of sauce. Already got some paint on that one. And a pot that a dessert came in, but you could use a jam jar or any kind of thing. But can you see it? It has a circle, and we know that circles just keep going round and round. So that's how you can spot a circle around your house. So you can use any size circle, but all you do is you take your, can you see the paint here? And I'll move my paper over so that you can see. You just pop it in the paint like that, and then stamp. Perfect circle. And you can keep going, and you know, parents, that even though you want your children to keep the paint separate, they will inevitably mix them all up. So you can make lots of different circle patterns. So if we use the big one, might get all the colours in the big one. Let's see. Use the big jam jar. Ooh, that looks really good. Let's see. Wow, that's given us a multicoloured circle. So you could make pictures out of the circles. I'm trying to think what we could make with circles. We could make a, see if you can guess what this is. It's its body. I'm not very good at art, but what do you think that might be? It could be a snowman, couldn't it? I think you could do much better than that at home. But you can use any colour paper, so you can use white paper, or it's really, really special if you use black paper. And we've done this before where we made pictures of the moon. I don't know whether you remember back in the summer, we made pictures of the moon. But you can make a round circle for the moon, or you could turn your stamp over. I'll use this one. It's got a nice flat bottom. Turn the stamp over and make a hole filled in circle. So you can play around and make as many colours and patterns. Oh, that's good. You can see the craters on the moon. So see if you can find some circular things, lots of circles around your house that you could make some lovely artwork with. And now, as always, Debbie is covered in paint. We'll just do that. Bit of paint won't kill us. There we go. And the last idea is very, very simple. And I found that I had some ribbon left from Christmas. And I thought, I remember seeing pictures of people twirling great big ribbons in the Olympics when they were dancing. And some of you might do it in gymnastics. So you can do it with any stick. So if you found a stick when you were out walking, you could do it with that. But just to keep it a bit safer, use something that's a bit thicker on the end so that you won't hit somebody's eye with it. I'm using an old wooden spoon, and you just simply get a piece of ribbon, however long you want your ribbon to be. The longer the ribbon, the bigger the circles. And we're just going to tie it onto the end like this. And then just to make sure it doesn't slip off while we're twirling, when I used to work at, some of the people who might watch this might be my old colleagues from Schuerstadt, and when we worked at Ormskill in the centre at Ormskill, if we got a bit fed up or a bit bored, sometimes we used to go into the office with the ribbons and we used to just dance around to music. True story. So no matter how old you are, if you're going to make these for your children, you might want one for yourself because it's great fun. Okay, so we'll just tie that to the stick to keep it in place. And then, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to let you see this, but if I put that up a little bit, and then if I do it over here, you might be able to see. So we've just got the string on the end of the stick, and we're going to make a big circle. Let's see if it works. Yay, that worked. And I can go higher with it, I can go lower with it, I can make all sorts of squiggly shapes. But the big circles, they're the best, aren't they? You can make all sorts of large circles. So that's another idea. So one idea will keep you nice and fit and healthy, doing lots of running around and dancing with your lovely ribbon on a stick. And you can use your mind to find lots of circles, and you can get creative with the paints. I think we might have time for our very favourite song that we sing every week at Little Fishes. So I'll go back into the room and Dexter will join in with us for the last song. Right, everybody, we've come to the end of today's session. Oh, are you sad about that? Oh, don't be sad, because we'll see the boys and girls next week, won't we? Yeah, but before we go, we're going to sing our song that we sing every week at Little Fishes, and every month at Little Fishes, and every time at Toddlers. It's Jesus' Love is Very Wonderful. And all of this week, Dexter has been practicing the actions, haven't you? Yeah. So you watch out and see if you can see Dexter do the actions and see if you can copy him. You ready? Remember, we start with some clapping. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Jesus' love is very wonderful. Oh, wonderful love. His love is so high, you can't get over it. So low, you can't get under it. So wide, you can't get out of it. Oh, wonderful love. Well done, everybody. Well done, Dexter. Oh, do you like that? Oh, that's good. Say bye-bye then. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next week.